step in this video. So in video 1, we went in and we created all of our items to symbols, which allows us to move them and animate them. So now in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and last time we also took those converted symbols and we adjusted their rotational points. And then we converted all of those items to their own separate layers for movement. So now what we're going to create is what we call a armature. And an armature allows us to selectively move various items. So we're going to go ahead and use our what we call the bone tool. Now the bone tool should be on the left. And if it's not, you can go to these 3 dots in animate and you can find it and drag it in. So now what I'm going to do is grab my bone tool, and I'm going to first start by drawing a skeletal figure from each moving part. So I'm going to draw a click and hold and drag, and that'll draw a line. Then I'm going to click, hold, and drag to the shoulder. And you want to put these in the spots in which you would have joints in your body, like your wrist and your forearm and your shoulder. So you'll do this with your character. Drag this kind of towards the center of rotation here. Ooh, might have to do it kind of twice if it doesn't want to go. There we go. And I'll drag to the next one. And I'll drag to the next one. And then I'll drag to the next one. So what the bone tool allows us to do, if I grab my selection tool and I click on one of the these bones, now if you look, I can make my character wave. Right, and I can pull them in separate directions, pull them apart, pull them away, and so forth. Now, notice how certain things are moving, right? My torso's moving as I move that, right? My shoulder's almost separating. Just hit Command Z there. So I'll grab my selection tool and I'll click on one of these pins, and you'll notice it's activated that pin. So what I can do, I can kind of constrain the rotation of that. So on the right here, again, make sure you click on one of those pins and your properties will pop up. If you look, I have joint rotation. So I can constrain that. Notice how it says left, -45, right, 45. So you can kind of play around with that. I know it's kind of a lot of math, but you can constrain that so that it doesn't separate. Notice how my shoulder's not separating anymore. So now I'm going to do the same thing with my torso, so my torso doesn't move. I'm going to constrain that. There we go. And it should kind of automatically set it up for you so that it locks it in place. And now I can kind of move around my hand. I can also come in and pin certain items. So if I grab my bone tool, I'm going to just draw one more bone going kind of down to like his belly button area here. It should go. Okay. For some reason that one's not wanting to go. So what we'll do is we'll just try and pin that torso from moving. So I got a pin there. I clicked pin and I pinned that. Let's see if that kind of helps. Oh, so much better. Notice how now it's not moving around as much. I can make this guy wave, right? I could even do it where like his arm kind of waves up and down. And I can make this arm kind of wave a little bit too if I wanted. And so forth. All right. So what I would like you to do now is go in and draw your bone tools. Okay. And after you draw your bones, get your constraints all set up. And then go ahead and now what we can do is we can go in and start adding some frames Okay, so we would add a frame, right? So we'd have a starting point. So we would get our arm to a starting point here. Okay. I'm going to maybe like frame, I'll go make sure frame like 10. I'm going to insert a keyframe. Make sure we insert frames for all so that it doesn't move. And then I can move that. So now if we look and I hit play, my arm has extended. I need to just add some end frames. Remember, we got to add end frames. Just so that all items in the picture have a frame so that they're playing in that spot. So now let's see here. See how my arm, oop, I got to add it all the way to the end there. But my arm waves back and forth there. So now what I can do is I can copy and paste that a couple times to make it move and work back and forth. So go ahead, draw your bone tools and get those constrained and then make your arm wave. Alrighty, good luck.